It is the middle of April and it's time for a little walkthrough of my kitchen garden. So I recently took a bunch of stuff out, so I'm just going to talk about what I've overwintered and what has gone in here just recently. So overwintered the sage. This is quite big. I probably need to cut it back, but I haven't had time to dehydrate it and I don't want to just throw it away. And I've got thyme on this side, and it overwintered. It got really thin and a little scraggly, but it's bouncing back just fine. Snapdragons I had overwintered as well. So these guys just got done blooming quite a lot, and they are really beautiful. I can't remember the variety on this, but they like the cool weather over the winter. So pretty happy. Got some radishes. So this I pretty much continuously plant and harvest. So this probably is even big enough to come out. It's a little on the small side. That's okay. So I do succession planting, so you'll see some that are bigger and then some that are quite small coming in. So as long as I remember to seed this every 2 weeks, I pretty much have continuous radish. And it tastes much better out of the garden than it does from the store. I find the grocery store ones a little bitter, but these aren't at all, and this is the French breakfast variety. I did try a late crop of carrots. I don't really know that these are going to mature. I overwintered carrots and I had a huge crop from, I think I planted it in November and then harvested in January or so. So this was just to see if I could do it in the spring. I don't think it's going to be as successful. And then I took out all the flowers that I had here, and I have put in, I've got the labels facing the other way, so I'll come around. I've got some eggplant that I put in here, and I actually put in a few more eggplant along this strip tape. But I also had an issue with my watering system, so a lot of it dried out. So I may have to buy some transplants if I want more than one eggplant plant. I put in some sunflowers, so that's there. And I did plant some chamomile, but I think it dried up and died. And I put in some squash from seed. So we have big problems with not squash bugs. Oh, squash vine borer. And so that usually takes out the plants pretty much as soon as they start producing fruit. But it grows quickly and it does, fairly well here until the bug gets them. So popped in a couple. Those will get really, really big and take up most of this bed. I planted some malabar spinach just because it's going to get hot before we know it, and then that can grow on this arch here. Grow up with that. And then I left the garlic chives in here. I just want to see if they flower. Okay, and then on this side I've got a branching sunflower, so it's starting to bloom. This one actually has 15 blooms on this one plant. And then I've got another one over here, so you can see all the buds on there. Really happy. And then under this arch, or this side of the arch, I've got watermelon. So it's like a sugar baby, small variety that will grow up and over that arch. These are green beans, so I started these in February, and I am very much behind on harvesting the green beans, so I'm in danger of having these be inedible because they're so old. So I'm going to go through today and harvest this. And then I had a surprise beet. So this one was left over from when I grew beets over the winter, so another successful winter crop. And then my onion experiment. So I planted these direct seed in the fall, and then I just let them overwinter. They froze and thawed several times over to the point where they got a little confused, and I think they think they're in their second year. So I think I'll do this a little bit differently next year, but it was interesting. So they're starting to dry out and flop over, but you can see I didn't do a good job of thinning them, obviously, but I've got some decent bulbs in there. some pretty good ones. So I'll harvest it and then we'll see how it goes. So the green beans I put in February, and then I also put in another crop of sugar snap peas in February as well, just to see if I could get in a quick harvest before it got cold. And yeah, I've got lots of them. So another one I need to come in and harvest. The marjoram is enormous, so I probably just need to cut this back before it flowers. So I'll probably just give it a good trim and try to get this guy under control. These are a new variety of zinnia that I'm trying. I think it's Senora. Got the label here somewhere. But you can see they're really, really pretty. Mazurka. So I wanted to grow a different kind of zinnia this year. So these were really very pretty. Some gomphrena. So these were transplanted a while back. And then I started this from seed. What is this? Muskmelon, cantaloupe. So I'll grow a couple plants and then have this grow on the arch as well. I did start some other stuff, borage and dahlia, but again, I'm not sure that those are going to take because of my watering situation. And then this is kale that I've overwintered. So my little kale trees. I need to go in and do some pest control. So it looks like I've had some cabbage worms on these. So usually you can find them on the back side. I don't see any right now, but I know they're there. So I might do a video just about how I treat for cabbage worms, which is with BT. But I also need to harvest this and do something with it, do some cooking. This is all lettuce and arugula. So what I did was I just mixed up a whole bunch of seed. So there's some black-seeded Simpson. This is arugula. And I thought I had some merlot in here, but I don't see it. And this is where I had my big crop of carrot. And so I've got some carrot volunteers that have come back. So on this side too. So we'll see what that does. I'm just gonna let it go. Okay. And then on this arch, I'm growing cucumber. Yeah. So I started that from seed as well. And then this is the Senora zinnia. So this one is much, much slower. That gets more sun over there. So this whole side gets much slower than the other side. And then last bit over here, there's quite a bit of things in here. I've got some tomatoes, some vining indeterminate tomatoes growing up. This one, can't remember the variety. I think it's Cherokee Purple on this one. Got a couple garlic chives here. I still have Swiss chard that was overwintered. It's in here, and I need to harvest this stuff, especially this one that is trying to bolt. And that'll clear up some room. And then I've got peppers. So mostly hot peppers there, and there, and there. And I have some basil going in here, and I have some more tomatoes. So this is a bush variety that's in the tomato cages, and I do have some that are making fruit right now. And then I have 2 indeterminate varieties growing on these trellises back here. So I've got marigold. It's a trap crop for the tomatoes. And then there's the tomato growing on this trellis. And I've just got it clipped in to train it. So one there, one there. You can see the Swiss chard from the other side. This is rose mint that I'm growing just because it's pretty. And then I grew some aster. These had a bright yellow center and they're starting to age out a little bit, but really pretty plant. Then I've got another cluster of thyme over here. This one also got really thin over the winter, but it's bounced back quite a bit. So yeah, that's what we look like in the middle of April. So still have a ton of stuff that overwintered and a lot of new things that I'm starting for the spring and the summer.